In order to create a query, I'm going to click on the Create tab across the top, and I'm going to select within the query category, I'm going to select Query Design. When I click on this, it's going to bring me up into a design view, and it will ask me to show tables. I'm going to close that down, and I'm going to switch the view from a design view. I'm going to switch it to a SQL view because I would like to be able to write these SQL queries manually by hand. Now, Access automatically gives me that first required keyword, and then it's followed by a semicolon. As I said, every line of code in SQL is an executable line of code, and you'll find out that in programming languages, every line of code ends or terminates with a semicolon. I'm going to delete that because I don't want to put anything accidentally after it, so I'm just going to delete it. And then I'm going to say select. I'm going to put an asterisk here. We're going to select everything. And then I'm going to use the second reserved word from, select from. This is going to be the name of the table that I'm trying to gather everything, or that I'm trying to pull the fields from. Our table is called dogs. So this is going to be our very first query. Select star, that will select everything from the table called dogs. When I'm ready to run this query, I'm going to click on the Design tab, which should be under the Query Tools tab. And the icon on the far left should be a red exclamation point that says Run. When I run it, it changes from Design View or SQL View, it changes to Datasheet View. This should look familiar to us. I see all of my fields and I see all 19 of my records. I can tell how many records there are by looking down here at the very bottom of the query run, and I can see that I'm sitting on record 1 of 19. That means that it brought back all 19 of my records. If I go back into my original table and I look, I can see once again that there are 19 records. So my query view is in Datasheet View. If I right click on the Query tab, I can select SQL View, and I can go back and see it, the SQL. All right, so let's save this. One of the best ways to save it is to right click on the name of the query. I'm going to save it and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call this query All Dogs. When I name the query, I'm going to make sure there are no spaces in the name of the query, just like I made sure there were no spaces in the names of any of the fields in my original table. Now I want you to notice that my query is now showing up in my navigation pane on the far left-hand side. If you cannot see both your table and your queries, I'm going to have you select the down arrow by All Access Objects and make sure that you have a check mark by the box that says All Access Objects. If you just have table selected, all I will see is my table. If I just have my query selected, all I will see with my queries, but if I select All Access Objects, I should be able to see both of them. All right, so let's create a new query. Once again, I'm going to click on Create, Query Design. I'm going to close this box down, and then I'm going to choose to go into a SQL view. I see that Access automatically gives me the first keyword, the select. I'm going to remove that semicolon, and then we're going to put the names of some fields in here that we would like to see. So what if I don't want to bring back all of the fields? What if I just want to bring back specific fields? Well, if I put dog name and then comma separated from breed, it's going to bring back these two fields, and then I'm going to use the keyword from and then the name of my table. Select dog name and breed from dogs. Now when I click on the design view and run the query, now I only have those two fields. I still have all 19 records, but I only have those two fields. I can right click on the tab and go back to my SQL view so that I can see my query. So when I include field names after the select statement or the select reserved words, they need to be comma separated. Now, as I mentioned before, select and from are required reserved words or keywords. Every single SQL query has select and from, and it has to be in this order. All right, I'm going to run this query one more time and let's see what we get. I'm going to select the Design tab and click Run. And I want you to notice the order of the breed, Chihuahuas and Border Collies and Lab mixes. This is just bringing back the dogs by breed as they are found in the original table. But what happens if I wanted to sort the dogs in some particular order? I can use the order by clause, and then if I follow the order by keyword by a field, a specific field, it will sort the returning data based upon that particular field. So if I say order by breed and I click on the Design tab and run the query, I want you to notice now that they are sorted by breed. So now it is sorted A to Z by breed. What happens if I don't want to sort? The default sort order is ascending. What happens if I wanted to reverse the order in which they are sorted? I could use the keyword descending, D-E-S-C, descend. And now when I run the query, it is going to sort them in reverse order from Z to A. So order by is an optional keyword. I can use it or not, but if I do use it, it has to follow in this order, select from, and then order by. So I'm going to save this query as all dogs sorted by breed. So I'm going to save it. We'll call it all dogs by breed. I'm going to try to keep my queries with one single word for a name, so I'm going to remove the spaces and smash the words together.